Over the past 10 years or so, I've flown quite a few different types of model aircraft, from model fixed wing to model helicopters like the one you see behind me, and also including my vertical takeoff plane that I built a few months back. But there's one type of model aircraft which I've never flown, and that is a remote control paramotor. Now the reason why I've never flown a remote control paramotor is due to the cost. The wings normally vary from about 250 to 400 pounds. Depending on what kind of spec you get, and that's quite a lot of money to spend on a model which I don't know if I'm going to enjoy flying. A few months back I stumbled across the Hobby King parafoil, which is a 1.95 metre parafoil, and it costs a mere £14.50 I think. Now I've been watching a few videos on this Hobby King parafoil, and it seems like a lot of people are having trouble with it. I did find one guy, which I believe is Spanish, who got his parafoil to fly properly, and he's made a video on how to tune the angle of attack. However, I can't seem to translate it very well, so if any of you Spanish viewers out there would like to help me out if I can't get this working, that would be great. So I've just ordered the Hobby King parafoil, and it should be here tomorrow. I'm going to spend the rest of today doing some more research on parafoil geometry, not just the wing geometry. It seems like where you attach the wing to the gondola, you know, where the person will sit, is quite important, and also the thrust line of the motor is quite important. So I'm going to get on with the research and design and hopefully print out a gondola and motor mount and battery mount all ready for a test flight once the parafoil arrives tomorrow. So let's get to it. Right, it's currently, I don't know, about 9 o'clock in the morning. The sun's out for once over here in the UK, and there's virtually no wind, so it could be a perfect day to test out this paramotor. I've tried to configure the Hobby King wing as well as possible. I can see why it's that cheap now. A few of the lines were tied with quite a bit of twist in them, which meant whenever I took tension off of the strings, they would just sort of spiral up like a twisted rubber band. I think I've fixed all those issues now, and I've given it a quick kiting test in my back garden, but it's time for a proper flight now. It's a bit muddy down here, so this wing isn't going to stay white forever. So I know roughly how to fly one of these. I know that to climb and descend is through the throttle control. The brake is to pull down on both of them, I think, and also steering is just to pull down on either one, which is how I've configured it. I'm not entirely sure the best way to launch this yet, but might as well just go ahead and try it, I guess. From what I've seen in the past, RC paramotors, they like to just be launched with one smooth swing over the head. So let's see if I can do that. I'm getting quite nervous actually. 3, 2, 1. I know the comment section will probably be full of everyone saying how to launch, telling me how to launch it, but you know, it's a learning curve. All right, here we go. Attempt number 2. That sort of worked. The launch worked. The angle of attack is way off. Right, so I've adjusted the lines a little bit. It should be less of an angle of attack now. 3, 2, 1. Still pulls back a lot. Right, so I've made my brake lines a bit longer. I just wonder whether they were on and that was causing it to do that weird stall. In 3, 2, 1. No, still not good. Oh, no. 3, 2, 1. Right, it flew better. It didn't stall so early. So let's try decreasing the angle of attack even further. For some reason it was turning to the side. I'm not quite sure why. So I decided to stop filming there and did a few more launches, and I had a lot of issues with the paramotor just turning left all the time. No matter how much right aileron, I guess you could call it, I could put in, it would always just turn left, and if I increase the throttle it would just spiral into the ground, and if I decrease the throttle it would just slowly descend and hit the ground. So I wasn't really getting anywhere with it. It then crossed my mind that I remember reading something about torque being an issue on these paramotors. Being only a single propeller and motor setup, the torque produced by this motor and propeller causes the whole backpack to rotate in the opposite direction. Now on a full-size paramotor, the pilots normally compensate this by leaning to the other side. So if the motor is spinning in this direction, it will force the paramotor the opposite direction, so the pilot will then lean in the other direction to counteract this torque. However, obviously on the model that I have, there's no weight shifting to counteract this torque. I then did some more research and came across a paramotor called a Scout paramotor, which I've seen before. They have like quite a nice carbon fibre propeller protector, I guess you could call it, and I wondered why they had these carbon fibre blades on it. Now it turns out that these carbon fibre blades counteract the torque produced by the propeller and engine. They sit just in front of the propeller, and as the propeller spins up and sucks air through these blades, it produces a moment of rotation in the opposite direction to the torque, and therefore cancelling it out. Now on a full-size paramotor you probably don't need these blades because you can obviously just lean and counteract the torque, but I imagine it's quite useful to have these blades. Must make it a lot better flying experience, not having to shift about everywhere. But on this remote control model, I think these might have to be necessary. So I've quickly mocked up a design in CAD, which I'll print out in a moment. This is what the design looks like. I'll put a little model here. It's essentially just a propeller guard, but the blades are angled. They're angled at 30 degrees at the root, where the motor is in the middle, and then they vary out to 5 degrees of pitch, where the propeller ring is at the tip, so it varies up the span of the blade. I'm not really sure whether these angles are correct. I just sort of guessed it, made it look right in my CAD program. So I'm going to print it out and then we can get on with the test flights tomorrow. So let's go. So it's day 2 now. I've got the torque compensator propeller guard on the paramotor now. So we're going to see how well this works, and hopefully the wing is trimmed out from yesterday's experiments, so it should just fly straight. Nothing else to do but throw it in the air. So, in 3, 2, 1. Look at that! Oh, that works so much better with a torque compensator.
Oh, that flies so much better. Yeah, that torque compensator is definitely needed. Let me see if I can track it. It flies so slow. That is so funny. Trying to fly it and also video at the same time. I can't believe it's actually working. That's so cool. That is so cool. Right, I'll put it in a steady climb now. Let's go full throttle. Sorry about this really terrible filming, I'm trying to film and fly. I'm holding my transmitter with one finger on the tripod, trying to direct the camera. With my camera all the way zoomed in, so it's quite hard to follow when it's all the way zoomed in like this. It looks like the paraglider, hang on, let me just secure my tripod quickly. Looks like the paraglider pitches back quite a lot, I'm not sure why that is. Does turn quite fast. See that? Oh! Right, yeah, I might have turned too fast then, it lost lift. I can't believe it actually flew. So, as I mentioned, I'm running 2 batteries on this to keep the weight up. It seems to like it slightly heavier than having a single battery. However, I only have one of them plugged in because I haven't soldered up a Y connector yet. So I'm not sure how that battery's doing or how long flight time I'll get. However, I'm going to switch to the other battery and give it some more flights. See how consistently I can launch this wing, because that's my first successful flight. Can I get 2 successful launches in a row? Do the lines look alright? Lines look okay. 3, 2, 1. Easy. Definitely got the hang of that now. It's something that definitely needs practicing. It's not just something you can just know how to do from watching videos. The torque compensator is working really nice. It just flies dead straight. I haven't seen any tendencies to roll to the left like it was doing yesterday. One thing that's interesting is that when I turn a lot, obviously it applies the brake on that side, and it really slows the paramotor down. So I don't know whether I'm turning too tight or what. It's so funny to fly this. It's just so slow and just so easy to fly compared to a roll control plane where the roll axis is really sensitive and it's just right, I think my battery just died. I was at full power then. Oh, this is interesting, let's just say that. This is what I meant about whenever you land and you get everything tangled up. It's all wrapped around the propeller and a big mess, so you can't just come in for a quick touch and go. It's landing and then untangle time. I don't really fancy spending much more time out in this cold, wet English weather, so I think I'm going to end the video here. This video wasn't sponsored by Hobby King or anything. I would rather spend the money and obviously give an honest review on this thing. I need to do some more flight testing, obviously, but to be honest, for that price, it's not too bad. I think it could probably do with some more tuning. I'm not sure whether, well, you paramotor professionals will probably help me out. When it's flying along, the wing is quite far back compared to the main motor system, but that just might be the way that these things fly. I think once summer comes around, it's a lot warmer outside. The grass isn't so wet, so the wing doesn't get all muddy and everything. This could be a nice little model to fly. Maybe even stick like a FPV system on it with a camera and all that, with a pan and tilt system. Could be quite fun. I'm going to quickly run over how I got this to fly properly. Thanks to Sebastian, the Spanish guy who made that tutorial. I'll link his video down below. Really helped me out. I managed to do the YouTube translator caption thingy and could understand exactly what he was saying, and honestly without him I don't think I could have got this flying. So yeah, I'm going to head inside, quickly run through how to get this flying so that you guys at home can build your own budget paramotor. Let's go.
So I'm just going to run through the setup that I've got for this paramotor and how to get the correct angle of attack. Let me just focus that. So when you buy the paramotor, it has this sort of nylon strap with these rings which all the strings attached to. They have what you'd call, I think, the A ring, the B ring, the C ring and the D ring. They all connect to all of the strings. The D ring, which is at the top here, that connects to the rear of the wing, and this A ring connects to the front of the wing, sorry. So to decrease angle of attack, you need to step these in the way that I've done it here. The way that I've done it is the D ring is obviously the highest up. C ring, the top of the C ring overlaps the bottom of the D ring. Then for the B ring, you leave about 1 ring spacing or half a ring spacing between the two. And then for the A ring, you leave about a 2 to 3 ring spacing between the A and the B ring. So if you just sort of copy what I've done here, I'm not sure if this side shows it a bit clearer. That's probably a bit better. Then for the lines for control, I've used these long arms, which are attached to quite large servos, just so I can guarantee I've got enough torque, and it means that if I need to lengthen these arms for more control, I can always do that. These strings I've just put through the D ring at the rear here, and then obviously they lead up to the trailing edge of the wing. So another thing that you need to adjust, which wasn't shown on the Hobby King website, but Sebastian showed it in his video, was
adjusting the length of the leading edge line. So these are attached to the A-ring. Only the inner two lines, but they split off into 4 lines. But the inner 2 main lines, you need to shorten, and I've done this just by tying a knot every so often. If you can see that knot, there's another knot on the other side. I think I've tied about 2 or 3 very small knots in these lines, just to shorten it, and that just brings the middle section of the leading edge down a little bit, and it allows the wing to cut into the air a bit smoother, and just stops it from pitching up a bit. Without shortening these 2 front lots of lines, it just goes into a stall like it did on the first day of filming. I'd had the correct line set up on here on the first day of filming, but what I didn't realise was that you had to shorten these lines. I'm not really sure how consistent these wings are produced, so your line might need shortening more than mine. I'm not really sure on that, but just take note that you need to shorten these at some point if your wing is stalling like mine did. Just a quick run through the electronics. I'm running 2, I believe these are 50-gram servos. I'll be linking everything down in the description below, so if I get anything wrong, just trust the links in the description. I've then got a 30 amp speed controller in here with a FreeSky 2.4 GHz receiver, and I've got the string's tangled around the motor. I've got a Sunny Sky 2212 980 kV motor with a 9x4.5 propeller. I'm not sure this propeller is a very good propeller. I probably should have tested out this slow fly propeller. I reckon this will be better because a lot of the thrust on this propeller is centralised to the shaft. They don't produce much thrust on the tips, it's mainly in the middle, which has all been disturbed by the main body of the Paramotor. Whereas this one produces a lot of thrust at the tip, or like close towards the tip. So this one might be more efficient and make less noise. I need to test it out at some point. In terms of battery, I ran a 4-cell 1800 milliamp lithium polymer battery. I actually ran 2 of these to get the weight up. So if you don't have any batteries already, I'd recommend buying maybe a 4-cell 3000 or 4000 milliamp battery. Should be able to get alright flight time, I reckon. And then obviously you just need some basic RC model skills, just the solder and everything, with the remote control, and that's about it. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this video interesting. I was certainly interested by the whole Paramotor dynamics and also the torque compensator design. I never even thought about that before researching all this stuff. So it was a very steep learning curve. Thank you very much to all of my Patreons for supporting me. You guys will gain access, as usual, to the 3D printer STL files. If you wish to support me, I'd really appreciate it. Just click this square up here, and for only $1 a month, you can get access to the 3D printer STL files for this Paramotor. So that pretty much wraps this up. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you once again for watching, and goodbye.